Imagine the Sahara Desert, but without the sand. 7,000 years ago, this region was a green paradise, teeming with life. And now, scientists have discovered squelches that reveal an unknown human lineage. Today, we're going to show you the mystery of the squelches of the Green Sahara. Buckle up and give us your like, subscribe to the channel, and let's find out together if it's real. The transformation of the Sahara from a verdant paradise to the unforgiving desert we know today represents one of the most dramatic environmental changes in the history of our planet. During the so-called African humid period, which lasted approximately 14,000 to 5,000 years ago, the whole of northern Africa underwent a radical transformation. Geological studies reveal that rainfall in the region was up to 10 times higher than it is today, feeding a complex hydrographic system that included the vast Lake Megachad, with an area of over 400,000 square kilometers, larger than today's Caspian Sea. In this extraordinary environment, civilizations flourished, whose complexity we are only now beginning to understand. Archaeological evidence shows that these peoples developed sophisticated societies, with systems of hunting, gathering, and later herding that allowed them to thrive in this privileged environment. The impressive cave paintings at Tessili Najer in Algeria depict vivid scenes of a bountiful land, with detailed representations of aquatic animals, herds of wild animals, and human figures going about their daily business. The turning point in this story came in the early 2000s, when an international team of archaeologists discovered an extraordinary site in the Takarkori rock shelter in southwestern Libya. Among the 15 skeletons found, 2 drew immediate attention: a pair of natural female mummies in such an exceptional state of preservation that they retained not only intact bones, but also skin, hair, and soft tissue. A rarity in desert climates. Dated by carbon-14 at around 5000 BC, these women would become the unwitting protagonists of a revolution in our understanding of African prehistory. Preliminary analysis of the remains found at Takarkori already revealed intriguing anthropological characteristics. The 2 women, both aged around 40 at the time of their deaths, a considerably advanced age by the standards of the time, had a unique combination of physical traits that didn't fit in perfectly with any known human group. Their skulls showed intermediate characteristics between the populations of North and South Africa, but with distinctive peculiarities. When the team from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, led by renowned geneticist Johannes Krauss, managed to sequence the mitochondrial DNA of these samples, the preliminary results were already surprising. But it was with the complete sequencing of the genome, published in 2025 in the journal Nature, that the true magnitude of the discovery came to light. The genomic data revealed that these women belonged to a hitherto unknown human lineage, genetically distinct not only from modern populations, but also from all other ancient groups ever studied. Phylogenetic analysis showed that this population separated from the main stem of humanity approximately 50,000 years ago, contemporary to the great human migration out of Africa, but which remained isolated on the continent. It's like discovering a completely new branch in the human family tree, Krauss explained in an interview. These people were so genetically distinct that we could consider them as representatives of a ghost population, a group that existed for tens of millennia but left few traces in the archaeological record and none in modern populations. The prolonged genetic isolation of these Green Sahara populations represents one of the greatest enigmas of modern anthropology. During the period in which they lived, between 14,000 and 5,000 years ago, the Green Sahara should have functioned as a natural corridor for population movements between North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. However, the genomic data tells a radically different story. one of prolonged isolation on a continent that has normally seen intense gene flows. Scientists have developed several hypotheses to explain this paradox. Some suggest that these populations may have occupied specific ecological niches, perhaps riparian areas or particular oases, that limited their contact with other groups. Others propose that cultural barriers, such as radically different languages or customs, may have inhibited genetic mixing. A third possibility is that their relative isolation was a consequence of seasonal movement patterns that rarely brought them into contact with other populations. The most intriguing aspect, however, is the paradoxical combination of cultural and genetic characteristics. These peoples clearly adopted herding practices, a cultural innovation that originated in the Near East, but show no genetic evidence of contact with populations from that region. What we see here fundamentally challenges our understanding of the relationship between cultural diffusion and human migration, explains Dr. Nada Salem, co-author of the study. We usually assumed that new technologies spread along with people. The riddle of pastoralism in the Green Sahara becomes even more complex when we examine the archaeological evidence in detail. The remains of the two women were found in association with artifacts that clearly indicate an advanced pastoralist society. Pottery fragments with milk residues analyzed by mass spectrometry, bones of domesticated animals with marks of systematic slaughter, and impressive artistic representations of herds on the walls of the rock shelter. Radiocarbon dating of the animal bones shows that herding in the region began around 7,500 BC, preceding the mummies studied by more than 2 millennia. This indicates that this practice was already well established when the women lived. However, as mentioned, their DNA shows no connection with the populations of the Near East, where animal domestication originated. Several theories have been proposed to resolve this apparent paradox. The most revolutionary suggests the existence of far-reaching knowledge exchange networks that operated through jumps between neighboring groups, allowing ideas and technologies to spread over vast distances without necessarily involving mass migrations. We may be looking at a primitive form of networked cultural diffusion, speculates expert archaeologist Dr. Marco Charin. Distant groups maintain sporadic contacts enough to exchange technological knowledge, but not enough to significantly alter their genetic makeup. Another fascinating aspect is how these populations coped with the climate changes that transformed their verdant home into an unforgiving desert. Paleoclimatic evidence shows that the transition to arid conditions began around 5300 BC and accelerated dramatically after 3500 BC. Archaeological records show a progressive abandonment of settlements. The discovery of this lost population has profound implications that go far beyond mere academic curiosity. Firstly, it reveals that the genetic diversity of the past was much greater than we imagined, with countless human lineages that left no direct descendants in modern populations. This suggests that human history has been marked by countless evolutionary experiments that have ended up extinct, whether due to environmental changes, competition with other groups, or simple bad luck. Secondly, the case of the Green Sahara offers a crucial lesson in human resilience and adaptation. For millennia, these populations have developed sophisticated strategies to live in harmony with their changing environment. Their seasonal settlement patterns, water storage systems, and adaptive grazing techniques represent a treasure trove of ecological wisdom that may hold valuable insights for our own contemporary climate challenges. Some researchers speculate that traces of this ancient DNA may persist in isolated populations in today's Sahara, such as the Tuaregs or certain Berber groups. Large-scale genomic studies are underway to test this hypothesis. If confirmed, it could reveal surprising connections between these modern cultures and their possible Green Sahara ancestors. The final disappearance of these populations serves as a grim reminder of the destructive power of drastic environmental change. As the Sahara progressively turned into desert, these societies faced existential challenges that ultimately proved insurmountable. Their story echoes contemporary concerns about how modern societies will face the challenges of global climate change. The story of the Green Sahara and its lost inhabitants is far from being completely told. Each new archaeological discovery, each advance in the analysis of ancient DNA, reveals ever deeper layers of this fascinating narrative. What else is hidden beneath the desert sands? How many other forgotten civilizations are waiting to have their stories revealed? As scientists continue to unravel these mysteries, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Humanity's past is infinitely more complex, diverse, and interesting than any textbook could suggest. The Takarkori mummies are not just archaeological relics. They are messengers from a lost world, bearers of secrets that could transform our understanding of not only where we came from, but also of who we are as a species. As we move forward into our own era of global climate change, perhaps we can find in the ashes of the Green Sahara not only warnings, but also inspiration. Evidence of the incredible human capacity for adaptation, innovation, and resilience in the face of the relentless forces of nature. So, did you enjoy discovering this archaeological mystery? If this video left you with more questions than answers, comment "Lost DNA" below. Don't forget to like it, share it with your conspiracy-loving friends, and subscribe for more stories that school never told you. See you in the next video.